Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Intentional Living Podcast with John Donovan, who is the inventor of this crazy idea, and Marty Keller here in Sacramento, John down in Oceanside, California. And this is our second podcast of the new year, 2026. So, welcome, everybody. Um, this is a podcast where we look at breaking patterns of behavior that I say I don't want and nonetheless continue to manifest. Like,
hmm
have you ever hurt someone you loved and later regretted it and then hurt them again in the exact same way? A pattern of behavior that we find compelled to do, even though our conscious mind says don't do that. Or have you ever been in the middle of an argument and you kind of realize you're wrong and you continue to argue anyway? Can you
Sure.
take the same side? Uh, or have you ever found yourself about to say or do something to someone that could be harmful, and you heard a little voice in your head say, "Don't do that," and you went ahead and did it anyway? This is just an example of the kinds of behaviors that we often feel compelled. We feel it's like our body makes us do this, even though our conscious mind says no.
Correct.
And so the intentional living process, which John developed a quarter of a century ago, as we talked about in last week's podcast, celebrating the first quarter of this century, um, helps us demystify these behaviors and actually look into what's going on with ourselves. And instead of fighting those behaviors, we befriend them, we make them our allies, and we use what they have to offer us to generate a completely different relationship with our inner world. And so, welcome, John. We have been on a several months long quest to take a look at what we call the accountability practice principles. And these are a series of guidelines, or insights into the various dynamics of this intentional living process. Um, I'm going to put them up on the share screen so people who are here for the first time can get a sense of flavor of what we're talking about. So we have a number of these principles. Um, and we've got a podcast that covers each one of these. And like I said, we're in the middle of reviewing all of them. And we're about in the middle. We started out with I'm always getting what I want. It's never about the other person. The issue is not the issue. People treat me the way I want them to. The quality of my life is determined by the focus of my attention. Life happens for me, not to me. What I resist persists. Hurt people hurt people. The world outside of me is but a reflection of the world inside of me, and its corollary, life is lived from the inside out, and it doesn't have to make sense. And last week we began the next one, trust the body, and we found that there's so much to say about this one that we're going to continue. We didn't complete that conversation, so we're going to continue
No.
that today.
hmm
And so maybe if you'd be willing to just share your kind of your 40,000-foot view of where we are when we talk about trust the body. Why is this so important? If someone's here for the first time and they're hearing us talk about our intentional living process, and we're going to talk about, by the way, the accountability tree, which is the very practical way that this information can be applied in our recovery work. Why do we make such an emphasis on feeling and trusting the body?
Um, because the body became the enemy, the child's enemy was being inside themselves. It was too traumatic, too frightening, too scary to stay in your body. Um, and one of the things I used last week as an example, as a man, I was told, be tough, be strong, don't be a sissy, don't cry, get the job done, quit your whining, um, don't feel. And I did that. I did that well. And then I grew up in relationships and I went to therapy. And the first question the therapist asked me is, how do you feel? And I had no idea what they were talking about. I thought they were going to tell me how to fix this? How to the bullet point thing? This is what you do, John, to be okay. Yeah, oh, I'm glad you told me, and I go out and do it. And it's like, no, I didn't have access to my emotional feeling body. I lost connection with that part of me in my childhood for the need of survival. Watching my parents argue, or actually watching my dad be violent towards my mother as a child, I couldn't like take. I had to disassociate. I had to move away from, not see that, stuff it, um, and the body holds the trauma. There's a couple books. One of them, the body keeps the score, and when the body says no, and I'm not sure who wrote each one of them. It's either Van der Kolk or Gabriel Mate, and they talk about the body being the receptacle and the container for the trauma. And one of the things I wrote down to say today that I didn't say last time, when I was being traumatized before the age of 6, my rational mind wasn't engaged. I didn't have rational mind. And the Catholic Church, they call it the age of reason, 7 years old, where as a child, you could start putting things together about who I am and what the outside world is. And all the trauma that happened to me before that was simply the trauma that happened to me before that. I had no way of realizing who did what when. It was all me. I'm in trouble. I'm bad. I'm wrong. And I stuffed that in my body. And that reality, that was the reality of the wounded child. Any child is truly a victim because they have no resource. They don't have the ability to think about calling child protective services, to like keep themselves safe, or going to saying something to an uncle. The rules in the family were don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. So it got stuck in my body, pre-verbal, nonverbal, pre-rational. And I talked last time about the body holding the trauma, pre-verbal, nonverbal. So it doesn't have words for it or a picture, and yet what we call a trigger in the present moment as an adult, somebody said no to us, or somebody asked us a question we don't want to answer, or it gets in our way of the TV, whatever it may be, we react in a way that's not in alignment with the event. And that's when the old trauma, which we have no words for, is in a frequency, feeling tone in the body. Something happens that resonates in the current reality with that frequency, and I go into fight, flight, freeze, please, or reactive mode. That's right. Become argumentative. I become stubborn. I scream, yell. I have to defend myself. Before my recovery, I used to say I had two choices in any argument with somebody, and that was either to hit them or leave them. Those were the only two resolutions I knew to have. I either had to hit by winning the argument. That's where I'm in an argument and I'm finding I'm on the wrong. I didn't want to lose that argument. That losing the argument was the last thing I wanted to do, so it didn't matter. Or hurt somebody I said I loved and then regret it. Oh, I'll never do that again. And then 10 seconds later, find myself doing. It's like, what's going on? Okay, I'm doing my best to explain what's going on. Unresolved childhood trauma in the form of a frequency. Don't know what it is. It resonates with something happening in the present moment, ignites, and I go into fight, flight, freeze, please, which is reactionary. And I don't know it now. There's a guy named Peter Levine who teaches therapists about somatic experiencing. And I've watched YouTube tapes of him taking a child recreating the trauma episode where the child's in trauma. And then when the child is in trauma, nurturing, loving, and restoring and validating the child's feelings. And this is like a 2-3-year-old. They're talking, they're very, not talking at all. That he finds that reintroducing the event or recreating the emotion and then nurturing it healed it. It got it unstuck. It got it to pass through. So it's no longer a motivating force to reaction. It loses its power. And that's what we do in intentional living. That is done experientially through doing the accountability tree, the thing we call the accountability tree. And it happens in my body. Let me bring the tree up if you don't mind. I think it'd be
yeah. Let's for the newcomer, let's go into what we're talking about here, because
okay.
eventually all these things will integrate and make sense.
Yes. So what I'm calling this process, I call an accountability tree. And up at top it says tree, and then an arrow here to this statement here, my truth. Okay. That's the result of unresolved trauma, the state that I find myself in. Okay. So my list pre-recovery, I was codependent. I was addicted to alcohol. And I was in some type of avoidant behavior. And what I mean by avoidant behavior is rageaholic, workaholic. I mean, I would never turn down any overtime, no matter what my family's priorities was or what I told them I was going to do on the weekend. If they asked me to do overtime, I was on board. To reach the unresolved trauma, which is in my body. Let me bring up this other.
So while you're doing that, I'd like to just point out.
You want that tree back?
Sure. So just again, for the newcomer, what we're talking about here is a specific experience that I'm having. Like, you're pissing me off so much I can't speak to you.
Right.
Or I'm having a recurring nightmare that I can't pay my taxes.
Correct.
Or
I just screamed and yelled. I'm violent.
Yeah.
I'm addicted. I'm an alcoholic.
So when we do the accountability, the reason I raised this, John, is this is a very practical thing. My experience with the tree is it's very practical. So the truth is something that's going on in the moment. Like I said at the top of the podcast, I'm stuck in a behavior that doesn't make sense to me, and it's causing me stress.
Right.
And so the truth is, I'm scared shitless, or the truth is I can't control myself. I can't control my anger. Whatever it is, this is a very practical practice based on something specifically going on with me in the moment. That's the truth that we're inviting ourselves to speak here.
Right. And it's the truth about my behavior. And
right.
The 5 examples I have to take to the tree are the statements either arrogant, entitled, mean or violent, controlling, or needy. So if I'm not able to deal with a situation and I'm feeling irritated, what does that mean? Oh, I need you to do something so I feel better. That's needy or codependent. So I own the codependence. I'm codependent. And that's just where I find myself based on my experience of unresolved childhood trauma, based on my life experience that accumulated right now in this moment. Right now I find myself arrogant or entitled. Mine was either controlling, needy, or mean, being violent, scream and yell at somebody. So when I say that truth has encoded in it the frequency of the trauma. And I want to bring that other picture up. So when I say the truth, and this is where the truth comes from, the results of where I find myself is that I'm either codependent, addicted, or in some type of avoidant behavior. This truth, this results is a result of unresolved trauma, complex post-traumatic stress that is held in my subconscious. So when I own this,
Well, and just if I could, it's held
yeah,
in the subconscious and in the body because the subconscious is not just in the brain.
correct.
So that's again, that's why we're talking about trust the body, because
Yes,
this information is held in the body and it's subconscious because we're not aware of it.
correct. So when I say the truth of where I find myself, and I go back to the accountability tree, I say I'm violent. Let's try that one. I'm violent. Blame free, judgment free. So what does that mean? I'm saying this for the purpose of healing. I'm not saying it for the purpose of beating myself up.
Right.
Okay. Or acquiescing to somebody else's need. I'm saying it for me. And how I get to blame free, judgment free is in that breath. If when I first, I'm violent, I'm mean to the point of cruelty. Now, Marty, I did not want to say that. I
No.
did not want to do that. It's like, are you kidding me? But I got it. I got it that I would be mean. Somebody would cry and I'd get meaner. What's that? Cruel. Oh my God. So I just said that truth. I'm mean to the point of cruelty. And I took a breath. When you breathe consciously, you're not in your critical mind for a second and a half, for a moment. That's where that emotion happens, the feeling, the old feeling, the old feeling like Peter Levine comes in, says, yeah, I'm trying to help you. And I simply validate, I don't judge it. Now, an example of this would be my grandson. I say, we're going to the store. I don't want to go. I don't like you. Oh, instead of going, you can't talk to me that way. You go to your room until you figure this out. I go, oh, I see you're frustrated. I see you want to keep doing what you're doing. I understand. That's frustrating. And we're going to the store. I didn't redefine his reality. I didn't punish him for back talking me. I mirrored his frustration. Okay. I didn't get that. So in this truth, I am mirroring my own pain. I'm mean to the point of cruelty. Yes. Oh my God. That's the emotion. We don't have to look for it. We don't even have to talk about it. It happens. It's a raise in awareness frequency. And then in that raise of awareness, we call it, another word for that is enlightened moment. Oh my God, I'm mean to the point of cruelty. Yeah, yeah. So, and in that moment is when we help people create an intent, or the intent is created. I'm mean to the point of cruelty. Take my breath, feel that. See, now I can feel the pain that I was in and that I create. I intend to be kind. Yes. So this bracketed area healed whatever prompted this behavior that I'm now owning. Blame free, judgment free. That's that's why the arrow here is self-validation. The truth, breathe emotion, validates the intent, makes me living intentionally.
So
And
what
then
is it? So my experience of doing this tree work is that, especially when I first started this journey, um,
yeah,
there's a couple of things. Number one, to own an unpleasant truth about myself was almost impossible
yes,
unless I could suspend judgment long enough to take a chance.
yes,
So just to let everybody know, we do this work in group.
yeah,
So I'm sitting in a group. When we first started, John was facilitating a men's group that I was part of here in Sacramento. So I'm sitting in a circle with 8 or 9 other guys, and I'm about to confess some terrible something that I've judged as terrible, and I had to take the breath first
Hmm.
to be able to. And I remember sitting in that room. Um, I remember we were doing this in your townhouse over there in West Sac,
Yeah.
and I remember this little thought in my head said, "I can suspend judgment long enough to say this. I could just do this, just for this moment. I'm going to suspend judgment." And I don't
Yes.
even remember what the this was. I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
remember what I was confessing to.
Correct.
But what I discovered is in the owning of the truth, there was a flood of feeling. There was a flood of feeling that I could not possibly have ignored.
Correct.
So this is what we're saying. We say trust the body. That when I was able to tell what I had judged previously all my life as an unpleasant truth, which is why I never said it out loud,
Correct.
because it would make me look bad, and if I looked bad, I would be kicked out of the group. So I was willing to say that, and then the flood of feeling, that sense of relief, combined with maybe a sense of shame or some other feeling that was not pleasant, but it was like the way that the Ents released the dam in the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
It's like this
Bursting.
gush of energy.
Yeah.
And that's the way I understand what you're talking about, that for the first time, my thought, the truth I spoke, and my feeling body were 100% in alignment.
Yes.
And that's why we're talking about I can trust the body, because the body is where all of that stuff was living outside of the awareness of my conscious mind.
Correct.
And once that information came through that gush of feeling, it was no longer subconscious.
Correct.
Everything changed in that moment.
Hmm. Yeah.
Even though
And the,
even though that I wouldn't, everything changed, but it took a long time for the implication of that change to become integrated with my new understanding.
correct. In that, where that gush, my experience of that, how I describe, it's a sloughing. It's a
Mm-hmm.
letting us an ease,
A
and the
release.
ease, and it's physical. It's a physical ease. Is, you know, doctors know that stress causes a lot of diseases. What's stress? Tense muscles. Oh my God, the whole body relaxed. It was like a, a systemic slough down ease, which is what? Letting go of the pain. The trauma moves through. Yes, that hurt. Oh my God. And it moved through to resolution. Why? Because I validated it. This is a crazy, how did I validate it? I said, I'm mean to the point of cruelty. What, John, what are you talking about? No, I said, I'm mean to the point of cruelty because that's the path I came through, stuffing my pain. And I said it for the purpose of healing, for truth, not for blame. I felt that. It was like me saying to my 3 year old when it was happening to my 3 year old, oh, I see you're frustrated, just like I do with my grandson. I see you feeling hurt. I see that hurt you. I'll support you. It's okay. Come here. Let me give you something to validate. Yes, I hurt. And it all happens right here in this bracketed area subconsciously. I still don't know what happened. I do know it's gone, whatever it was, because I intend to be gracious. I intend to be compassionate. I intend to be a loving, caring, nurturing father. Guess what? I am. It's like it was like given to me on a platter. Of course, uh, that I had to go through this process to pick up the platter, but still, this is such a powerful, and that's why I have power and choice on the sides. I tap into my subconscious power of manifesting. What did I manifest before my healing? Mean to the point of cruelty. Manifested that well. Whew. Oh, what am I manifesting now? I chose kindness, consideration, graciousness, acceptance, listening. Oh my God, who'd have thought? Oh, just listen to the person? Are you kidding me? Really? Does that do so? Yes, it validates them by simply. I heard what you said. I'm hearing what you're saying. It's like, how come nobody told me this? It's like, dang, oh my God, I'm gonna do this. And if I had a number of how many times I've done this process, it would be an astrological number.
As and an astronomical number.
I always get those mixed. Is the big one
Well,
where
no,
it's not.
I think it's probably both.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, because astrological is on the spiritual plane, and astronomical is on the quantifiable plane.
Well, I can quantifiably say astronomical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, and I can own the spiritual side too. It was powerful beyond measure. Oh my God.
Uh, there's a couple things I'd like to see if we can sneak in a comment out before we run out of time. One is this that my experience as a facilitator, I've been facilitating meetings along with you now for I don't know 8 9 years.
Yeah,
You said last week about, and then referred to that today about, men we're not supposed to feel and so
correct.
forth. But I got to tell you, women aren't much better when it comes or let's say women are equally adept at suppressing feeling. That
Correct.
this is a universal thing. This is not a male female thing.
No, it isn't. Generally speaking, on a continuum, we both experience the same thing on a continuum. Generally speaking, men are told be tough. Women are said you can be feminine, but that's weak ass stuff. So in how I say this is in men, in my experience, I just denied the emotion. In women, their emotions are demeaned and diminished, so that they can't rely on that emotional part of themselves because it's been so demeaned and diminished. Um,
Well, I think it's
so
also
yeah,
true that I think it's also true that there's a there's a socially acceptable range of feelings that women can claim
yeah,
and still not get into the feelings that come with abandonment and childhood trauma.
correct.
And so it may be the case that um, because women are quote permitted end quote in our culture to have a certain range of feelings that it might be easier for women to do this work, but that's not my experience.
No,
My experience is that women as well as men, when it comes to the truth that we've been denying ourselves forever, it's equally difficult to get to the emotion.
yes,
And that when the emotion or when the truth is finally owned and spoken, that I've seen women be as surprised at their feeling that was showing up as I was.
yes, yes, yeah,
So that was one point I wanted to make. So this is not this is not this is the same for both sexes.
yeah,
The second thing I want to point out is that I think you said this maybe last week, but because the human body is, you didn't use this word yet, John, but we're an electromagnetic biochemical organism.
correct.
Electromagnetic implies regular pulse. Electromagnetic force is a pulse force.
Mm-hmm.
Biochemistry is a flow force.
Mm-hmm.
And so because that's the fundamental physical nature of the human body, we're always feeling something.
Correct.
We're
You
always
can never,
having feeling.
you cannot not feel. Period.
Exactly. We ought to make that a principle. It's not one of our principles, but I think that's something we ought to
Oh,
consider.
great, good idea. Yeah,
You
we'll put
cannot
that up.
not feel.
You cannot not feel. You can deny it. You can demean,
Right.
diminish it. You can reframe it. You can all kinds of things, but you cannot not feel.
Right. And it's all just a question of intensity. So sometimes the feelings are kind of quiet, and sometimes
Mhm.
they're incredibly intense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like to
Along
use
with
it.
life.
I like
Yeah.
to use the image of a lava lamp, that our human body is like a lava lamp and things rise and fall. There's
Yeah.
always something going on, but some
Hmm.
things rise to the top and other things sink down, but
Hmm.
it's always happening.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, like right now, I can sit here and I can put a focus on any part of my body and I can feel what's going on, because something's going on.
That's why it's so destructive. That's why stress is so prevalent. Stress creates dis-ease or discomfort or addiction or obsession compulsive. Stress, to hold that in, to deny or to see yourself as weak or demeaned, diminished, and avoidant, you have to tense your body
Right.
muscles viscerally and muscularly. The viscer, it's like, and then we wonder at the amount of disease that's happening, or we wonder at the major killer is heart attack. The heart is hurting, wounded, yes. Um, I remember going to a therapist and she suggesting to me, John, your heart has been broken. And it was like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like, nobody's ever said that to me. It's like, and of course my heart was broken. I was this innocent, loving, wanting, loving, giving little being. And I was demeaned, diminished, told wrong, and told to be good. And everything I did was okay. Yeah. So this process is when your body is free of stress, your emotional, soul, and spiritual self bodies are free to seek, to explore, to experience life and connection and do
Health.
whatever we're doing down here, health, um, and experience giving and receiving love. With this unresolved trauma, there's a block, there's an obstacle, and that obstacle is unresolved complex post traumatic stress. When you relieve that, a whole new world opens up.
Well, and it turns out that the more we do this work and we um, engage in the long-term reduction of stress, the
Hmm.
healthier we are physically as well as psychologically.
Yeah.
That this may have been the most important thing I did to myself to create longevity, because
Yes.
the more I stressed myself, there's that endless um, squeezing in of emotion, feeling that is impacting the viscera, it's impacting the heart, the circulatory system, it's impacting the respiratory
Hmm.
system. All of those things, if they're under uh, endless tensing, then at some
Hmm.
point
Hmm.
it becomes weak. It's weakened by this endless tensing and stress.
And
So
that tensing and
the
stress,
more I let that go, the less work my body has to do. And therefore, the more it can reside in its natural equilibrium.
instead of giving energy to the stress, holding the stress, your energy is freed up for your immune system to operate in a efficient.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
There's a test. I want to mention that. I know we're out of time, but there's an ACE test. You can Google it, and it's 7 questions. And depending on how many questions you answer yes, it actually predicts how long you live. Now, I took that thing and I answered 6 of the 7 yes. So I was fortunate to get into recovery at 38 to at least stop my drinking, stop the physical part. It took me a couple of years 10 years to work on the emotional part. And I'm now 76. So that test predicted I would die at like 58. And it's pretty accurate. ACE, 7 questions, just for familiarity. One of the questions is was your dad ever taken to jail, taken out of the house into jail? Was anybody in your family ever committed? Oh, shoot. Um, were you ever yelled at for what you considered no reason? Oh my God. It's like I don't remember the one I didn't answer yes to, but it was
Right.
horrendous. So,
So, my friend, thank you very much. We are running out of time here, and again, we've just scratched the surface of this. We can revisit more next time. I
okay.
uh, I want to invite everybody to learn this process for yourself. The accountability tree that John put up on the screen earlier in the podcast is something we work on in group meetings, group setting. There are 4 meetings every week, and they're all on Zoom. And information as to the specific time and day and the Zoom addresses will be at the end of the podcast. So please feel free to join us, ask questions, um, challenge us, whatever. That's fine. We just love to have you come and learn about intentional living. And so
Yeah.
before we wrap it up, as always, any last words, John?
Yeah. As I was talking about the ACE test in my own experience, I was reminded of the urgency of this process, whether it's our process, intentional living, accountability tree, some process, something is intentional living isn't the only way. The accountability tree isn't the only way. There's a lot of different resources out there for people. And if you are hurting, hey, come join us because we like what we do, or wherever you're prompted to move to find help. Please just go start that process.
All right. Well said.
Thank you.
So thank you as always for your time, and we'll see you next time.
You got it.
And thanks everybody for joining us. We appreciate your being here. Please subscribe and hit the like button, as we like to say on YouTube.
Yeah.
Take care.